Hello and welcome. As an AI expert who's spent years in modern hospitality operations, I'm thrilled to welcome all of you from Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. Today we're diving into a topic that honestly can make or break a hotel's success: how we handle the training budget.
You know, this quote from your school, it's more than just a nice saying. It's really the secret sauce of every single great hotel out there. The moment you shift your thinking, the moment you stop seeing training as just another expense and start seeing it as a strategic investment in your people, well, that's when you've truly unlocked the key to building a powerhouse operation.
So how do we actually do that? Well, we've got a 5-part roadmap. First, we'll nail down why this is so incredibly important. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of costs, figure out where to put our money for the biggest impact, and then, and this is the part that will make you a star in the boardroom, we'll talk about how to prove it's all working. And finally, we'll look ahead. Sound good? Let's get started.
All right, first up, the why. This is about the strategic imperative. And let me tell you, this is about so much more than crunching numbers. It's really about charting the entire course for your hotel's future. Just think about it for a second. We live in a world where one bad review can spread like wildfire, and one incredible guest experience can create a loyal customer for life. In that world, your team, they're everything. The hotels that get this, the ones that consistently invest in their people, they don't just survive, they thrive, they lead the market. That's real resilience, and it all comes from smart investment.
Okay, so if we're going to invest wisely, we first have to understand what we're actually spending money on. It's time to pull apart the budget and see what's really inside.
Now, there are really two kinds of costs you have to get a handle on. You've got your direct costs. Those are the easy ones, right? The trainer's invoice, the cost of materials, the room rental. But then you have the indirect costs, and that's where it gets a little trickier. We're talking about the value of an employee's time away from the front desk, or the potential for a small disruption in service while your team is in a workshop. These costs are just as real, and they have to be on your radar. And that's exactly why you've got to look beyond the obvious line items. If you're only budgeting for those direct costs, you're just not seeing the whole picture. It's like you're flying half blind. And believe me, that can lead to some very expensive surprises down the line.
Okay, so now you're seeing the whole financial picture. Now comes the million-dollar question. Where do you actually put the money? Let's talk about how to allocate your funds for maximum impact.
You can think of this as your 4-step playbook for success. First, you have to align any training with your hotel's main strategic goals. Second, you prioritize. Find those high-impact areas where you can get the most bang for your buck. Third, you commit. You allocate the resources. And fourth, and this is the step so many people forget, you have to monitor and adjust. Keep a close eye on things and be ready to pivot if something isn't delivering.
Which brings us to our next big topic. How do you actually prove that all this time and money is paying off? It's time to talk about ROI, or return on investment.
At its core, ROI is a pretty simple idea. For every dollar you put into training, how many dollars are you getting back? But it's about so much more than that. This is how you prove your value as a leader. It's how you walk into a meeting with hotel ownership and show them, with cold, hard data, that you're not just spending money, you're making a calculated, strategic investment in the hotel's future success.
So what does a strong return actually look like on the ground? Well, you'll see it in improved operational performance. Like a check-in process that's so smooth, guests are just wowed by the efficiency. You'll see it in reduced employee turnover, when your best people choose to stay and grow with you instead of leaving for the competition. And most importantly, you'll see it in those higher guest satisfaction scores, the glowing 5-star reviews that keep your hotel booked solid.
All right, let's bring it all home by looking to the future. Because smart budgeting isn't a one-time thing. You need to build a strategy that's sustainable and forward-looking.
Now pay close attention here, because this is a trap so many leaders fall into. There's a huge difference between cost efficiency and cost cutting. Efficiency is smart. It's about getting the absolute best quality and value for your investment. Cost cutting, on the other hand, is just a race to the bottom. It's choosing the cheapest option, period. And that almost always leads to a really poor result and, ironically, much higher costs in the long run.
Now this is where my world, AI and modern tech, can be a total game changer. Things like e-learning or blended training programs can make high-quality education way more accessible and can seriously reduce your long-term costs. But here's the catch. Technology is a powerful tool, but it's not a magic wand. You need careful planning and a smart strategy to make that initial investment really pay off.
So as you prepare to start your incredible careers, I want to leave you with this question.
Every budget decision you make is really a decision about the kind of leader you're going to be. Are you going to be a leader who sees your team as a cost to be managed? Or will you be the leader who sees them as your single greatest investment? The one who builds the teams that create those legendary guest experiences? The choice is yours.